What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by two things. Since we don't do any sponsorships here on the channel, I'll show them out real quick. The first is my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound, and the second is a new podcast I just launched called Chasing Infinity. Links in the description below. Check them out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. Okay, guys, we are just in line here for the next town hall for November of 2024. I started this series maybe a couple of months ago. I apologize. This video is coming out a little bit later than I usually do because the town hall is in less than 24 hours or about 24 hours from the time that I'm recording this. So I'm going to try and get it up as quickly as possible. But these are the three biggest questions that I have for the upcoming town hall in November of 2024. So let's go ahead and jump right in. The first one, and I put this first because I know that we're already going to get something, so it was kind of like a little bit of a layup, but Land 1.75 updates, and more specifically timeline, which I know is always a tricky thing when it comes to Splinterlands town halls. So Land 1.75 updates, as I was saying earlier, we saw from Cryptomancer, if you go into the town hall Discord thread, Cryptomancer said that he will be on the town hall. He will be discussing Land 1.75 updates. So we're going to get that. I think he even mentioned some eye candy and such. But mainly, I'm curious about timeline. And I understand the team may not want to give like specific dates, and that's totally fine. But what I think they should give specific dates on is when it's not going to hit so that expectations are appropriately set. Now, the first time we heard about Land 1.75 being released was back in September, and it was given a Q1 launch, right? A Q1 date for release. So September to January, which would be the first month, is 4 months. In September, and since September, I have been maintaining that I would love to see Land come out in January. Well, we're not halfway through that, right? We are in November. We're actually towards the end of November, so it's like a month and a half. And to be honest, I'm not quite sure where Land is in terms of all of the updates and requirements and things that are needed. I mean, we got that update from Cryptomancer as Land, for November, right? Once we saw the October progress and what he was planning to work on for November, hopefully we'll get a little bit of an update on him for this. But mainly what I want to know is, again, when it comes to timeline, should we expect this in January, February, March, right? Is it still Q1 first and foremost? And you know, I was getting a little cynical on one of the live streams earlier, and I'm like, I'm kind of having my doubts now, but we'll see. All right, we'll see how things go in terms of if it's going to be available in Q1, and if so, can we rule out certain months? Like if Cryptomancer knows for sure it's not going to be January, like, let's not say Q1 anymore as this like nebulous thing, right? Let's start to say like mid to late Q1, right? Just to level set expectations. If it's not going to be January, if it's not going to be February, like let's say like late Q1. And if it's not going to be Q1, we should try to get on top of that now and get ahead of it. So obviously that wouldn't be ideal, but the last thing I want is to be in January waiting, wishing, hoping, and thinking that, every week we're going to get some kind of update on Land that's going to release, but, it just wasn't even ready to begin with. So hopefully we can get a little bit more transparency from Cryptomancer. And the thing is, these town halls are still technically like Splinterlands things. So I wonder if we'd be able to pull that out from Cryptomancer because he is now technically a DAO employee, right? Just to get, again, it's not about like making them stick to a certain date. It's really just ironing out or really ruling out certain dates that we know are not going to be hit, right? So instead of, again, the nebulous Q1, like let's try to at least say, hey, if it's not going to be January, if it's not going to be February, let's stop saying Q1, right? Like, I mean, you could say Q1 to make people feel better, but honestly, that's not accurate anymore. I mean, technically it would be, but we're talking about like late Q1 at that point. So hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully, the 4 months that Cryptomancer has been working on it or the 4 months that he'll have starting in September onwards will be enough and we can get in January, but I would just like to get a realistic updated timeline as to when we can expect it and maybe more importantly when we should not expect it. So that's my first biggest question, and with Cryptomancer being on, I'm hoping we can get a very clear-cut answer towards that. Number two, These were the other two things, or two of the other things that the team wanted to work on and get released before Conclave Arcana. So obviously there's still plenty of time between now and April of next year, which is when they plan to launch Conclave Arcana. But hardcore mode and glamour were the two aspects that kind of got flip-flopped, right? We thought glamour was going to be coming out by the end of the year. Again, this is just based on Nate talking in a town hall saying it was a couple of months away, a couple of months ago. But then we heard from Matt that hardcore mode actually got prioritized over glamour, which means that, and I think Matt said glamour wouldn't be expected until next year. So hopefully we can get some details on hardcore mode, maybe even some details on glamour. Maybe we can get some timelines as to when we can expect that. Again, considering that we're towards the end of November now, we have a holiday coming up next week. We have a holiday season coming up over the next 5-ish weeks. I don't know what the team's, work life is going to be during that time. Again, I want them to take time off. I'm not expecting them to go buck wild in December, right? I'm sure it's been a very difficult year as it is. But if that's the case, then once again, similar to the timeline earlier, let's level set expectations. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that the team was working on. I was really hopeful that they could get something out before the end of the year. If they're not, like, let's just rip off the Band-Aid and say, like, hey, all this stuff is coming in 2025, right? We're not going to be releasing anything in 2024. This is it. This is what you have. Enjoy the holidays. Go touch some grass. Go touch some snow, which is a perfectly acceptable thing for them to say, right? But we just need to hear. I just want to hear it, right? So that I know, and I'm not sitting here expecting like, oh, we're going to get something cool. It's again, just level setting expectations appropriately for these. Obviously, I want to hear a lot more about hardcore mode because there seems to be a lot of excitement. People keep asking me for my theories on it and what it could be. But, at the end of the day, we'll have to wait and see what they provide. If hardcore mode is coming out sooner than everything else, though, then then hopefully they have the details for that, and hopefully they have a timeline as to when we can expect it. But we'll see what they say during the town hall. And then number 3, this is one that actually should have a date, although, albeit somewhat unofficial, but the Voucher promo card. I'm hoping to get stats for that, at least relatively soon, and a release date for it, and then store plans, but let me get to that in a second. So for those who remember, this is supposed to be a quarterly card. The first one, inaugural one, came in on September 3rd of this year, which means 3 months after that, or, full quarter after that, would be December 3rd, which ideally works out to be a Tuesday, which is their usual maintenance day. I don't know if they have an update then or not, but it does work out to be a Tuesday. Now, I'm not going to hold them to being, actually getting it out on that Tuesday, if it's December 10th or whatever. Like, I don't really care, but I just want to know that it is being worked on, that they didn't forget about it, and it's not going to be like, oh, actually we forgot, we're going to push it to January or something, right? So hopefully we can get the stats on that. Hopefully we can get the release plan on that. And then I was talking about the second part here, the store plans. I want to get some clarification on, is Mana Warden, the first card, going to be leaving the store? And will there be like a countdown as to like, between now and December 3rd or whatever the date is, that people will be able to go in and buy it? Or the other idea that I've been pushing out there for a while is leave it in the store for an entire year, right? Have a 4-card rotation where there's 4 cards in the store at a time, and by September 3rd of 2025, that is when we will remove the first card, Mana Warden. But, again, I just want to know what the store plans are, if they have any other details in terms of, skins or glamour, or how else they're going to do things and offer value and utility for vouchers. But again, that stuff might all be on the back burner as they try to, focus on probably land and hardcore mode and all that. Either way, I hope we can get the voucher promo card stats and, a little bit of an update as to what we can expect come December 3rd, December 10th, whatever the date is in terms of how they're planning to handle the voucher store. But that is all I have for you guys in this video. These are the 3 biggest questions that I have heading into the town hall. Exciting stuff nonetheless. I know I can come off a little cynical sometimes, but that's just because I'm impatient. I want all this stuff here now. So we'll see what is coming now or soon in 2024 versus what's coming in 2025. That's probably the biggest question for me. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know your questions for the team, and we'll see what they answer in roughly 24 hours from now. But that's all I have for you in this video. I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.